are finished! This magic card is unstoppable! The Call of the Haunted!
Fire!
What's up guys? Welcome back to Toon, Duelists. Today I'm going to show you our Call of the Haunted deck profile. Now I'm super excited to show this one to you guys. It's a brand new archetype that came to us in Maze of Muertos and of course cover card of this set, or cover archetype better said. What can I say guys? It's so amazing that one of the OG decks played by Bones back in the day now gets a retrain and a whole own archetype. I'm a huge fan of the OG anime, and Bones was one of those characters that never really got new support. Well, to be honest, he had a kind of small role. He dueled in Battle City, but only a very short duel against Bakura. And then of course he had his big known duel in Duelist Kingdom against Joey. And yeah, guys, what can I say? I had to get this archetype. I'm a super big fan of those days of the anime and those days of Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. I basically have all the decks of this time. Let it be Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, then of course My Valentine's Harpies, Mako Tsunami's Kairushin. I even have a coin toss base deck with Borrow Dragon from Bandit Keith, and obviously a Toon deck. I just love everything about it. So when this came out, I knew I had to get it. So guys, if you want to skip straight to the deck profile, you can do this of course as always with the chapters down below. But before you leave, don't forget to like and subscribe, this would really help us a lot. It's one small click for you, but means the world to us of course. If you want to stay and learn more about this archetype, stay with me, I'll go through our 5 categories next. The first category is as always concept and lore. And well, we don't really have a lore because the whole concept of this deck basically leans heavily towards Bones and his appearances in the anime, mostly his duel against Joey in Duelist Kingdom. So the whole archetype is pretty much self-referential right here. It references artworks and of course effects those monsters used to have, because we all know in Duelist Kingdom, yeah, let's say they had some interesting effects.
Now, Stone Soldier, destroy the moon!
The core card of this deck is obviously Call of the Haunted, a permanent trap that basically every one of you has to know, I guess. I know back in my day we all played Call of the Haunted, we thought it was such a good card. Call of the Haunted gets a print in 2026. I didn't bet on that. Well, as most cards in Duelist Kingdom, it had a whole nother effect in the anime than it really had. First of all, it was a spell card, not a trap card, or magic card as they called it back in the day. And it had the effect that it revived any monster sent to the graveyard as zombies, and it also gave a power boost to them. If you pause the anime and read the card text, and translate it of course, it specifically reads, "An army of all destroyed monsters in the graveyard are revived as zombies." An army of all destroyed monsters. This pretty much leads us to our next card and the first new card of this archetype we're going to talk about, which is Army of the Haunted. Guys, this artwork is amazing. I just love the fact that you can see all 3 monsters Bones used in his duel against Joey. Well, not all of them. Pumpking is also a thing, we'll talk about that in a moment. But Zombie Dragon, Zombie Clown and Armored Zombie can all be seen in this artwork. So it once again heavily references the anime, and the interesting part is that the cards themselves, so Zombie Dragon, Zombie Clown and Armored Zombie, reference other Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards as well, because they are all zombie versions. Zombie Dragon is the zombie version of Crawling Dragon, Zombie Clown is the zombie version of Crass Clown, and Armored Zombie is the zombie version of Zanki right here. So yeah, we have a reference of the reference right here. It's kind of messy, but I love everything about it. And this card actually has a level up, let's say, because we not only have the Army of the Haunted, we also have the Legion of the Haunted. And this one is specifically interesting because in this artwork we can see some of Joey's monsters as zombies. Here we can see Tiger Axe as a zombie, Flame Swordsman looks amazing, not only in the OG artwork but also as a zombie, and also of course his red eyes. And to be honest, I just have to mention this right now. What is the deal with red eyes and zombies? He has to have some affection to zombies, I guess, because we have so many zombie versions of Red Eyes already. We have Red Eyes Zombie Dragon, we have Red Eyes Zombie Necro Dragon, and we have Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord. So what's the deal here? But of course, this archetype also gives us classic solo standing monsters, not just armies and legions. And the first one we talk about is Great Mammoth of the Netherworld. This one is a retrain of Great Mammoth of Goldfine, which again is a recolored version of Mammoth Graveyard, kind of, so yeah, again, a reference of the reference. Even though Bones didn't use it in Duelist Kingdom, he actually used this card, so Great Mammoth of Goldfine, which you can actually see right here. Amazing, I love those holos of Vanilla, Fusion and OG monsters, it's amazing. Anyways, Bones used it in Battle City against Bakura, and it's interesting because it is a fusion of Zombie Dragon and the Snakehair, which are both cards also that Bones uses. By the way, makes totally sense that a Zombie Dragon and a Medusa-like creature fused together make a skeleton of a mammoth. Ah, those OG Yu-Gi-Oh days, right? Since we're talking about the Snakehair, this one also has a leveled up version or retrain in this new archetype called Stare of the Snakehair. An amazing card right here. And right here, just to get this out of the way, it is heavily inspired by Medusa, obviously, which turns their enemies to stone with just one look, one stare, so to speak. Actually, not only did Bones use it in Battle City, he also thought about playing it in Duelist Kingdom, actually, but Bandit Keith advised him not to do so. And this is interesting when you think about the new effect this card has, because again, you don't really want to summon it, you want to discard it, use its effect, and yeah, then move on with your strategy, which was basically the same thing Bones did, but you will special summon it, not from the hand though. Next up, we have to talk about the king of the deck. Obviously, I'm talking about Pumpking, King of Grave Ghosts. Amazing card right here. Obviously a retrain of Pumpkin, King of Ghosts. Also a card Bones used. Basically his ace monster, if you want to call it that boosted up all his zombies and made them powerful and more powerful for each turn they were on the field. Now, the concept behind Pumpkin might be obvious. Pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, Halloween, ghosts. I guess you know what a pumpkin has to do with ghosts and zombies by now. And because it was such an important and iconic card, it also gets a leveled up version in Pumpkin the Great Ghost King. Now with a mustache. And we know everything is better with a mustache, right? Now, this archetype obviously also gives us spells and traps, and they stay where they are, referencing the anime and the manga. For example, in Ectoplasmic Fortification, we can see Pumpkin boosting Zombie Dragon, Armored Zombie and Zombie Clown, just like he did in the anime, so basically this is straight out of the anime right here. Then, in Call of the Forgotten, we can see the duel arena where Bones and Joey dueled during Duelist's Kingdom. Time Vortex references the use of Time Wizard, which Joey did in his duel against Bones. He used it but failed actually, which rarely happens to Joey, but wait, this time it went wrong. And finally we have Deadly Zombie Breath, which was the attack used by Zombie Dragon, which was almost the only zombie monster Bones actually used in this duel. As you can see, the concept of this deck is referencing the anime, referencing other Yu-Gi-Oh monsters, and it's just an homage to the great duel Bones and Joey had during Duelist's Kingdom. And if you ask me, that's amazing. For an OG fan like me, it's all we need. Next up, let's talk about the artworks. Now, I already explained in the concept what we can see on those cards, and all those references to other cards, to the anime, just brings a big smile to an OG fan like me. What about you? But it goes a little deeper than that if you ask me. I mean, look at those card designs. They are simpler, they are more serious it seems, and actually they are more frightening. It's nothing like the modern card designs we're used to, which are often just, yeah, anime girls and chibis and stuff like that, or I don't know. Don't even ask me what yummy is, I don't know. It's just straight up dual monsters. It puts this back in the center and it reminds me of those OG artworks we all loved so much, or at least I did. So the artworks bring back old monsters, the old style, the feeling those cards had back in the day, and just straight up upgrade them. For example, with a mustache. Everything's better with a mustache. And also, by the way, more than one monster on an artwork, I think that's just amazing with Army of the Haunted and Legion of the Haunted, or Undying Legion, sorry, amazing. So, what can I say in conclusion? The artworks are nothing new, but that's the whole point. It brings back old times, old feelings, old artworks, and yeah, it just does what it should do, reference the old days, and for an OG fan like me, that's a 10 out of 10. Next up, we talk about the playstyle. Well, obviously, Call of the Haunted is in the center of this deck, and that means special summoning from the graveyard is your way to go. And actually, all the monsters of the archetype are level 6, so if you play it pure, you won't even be able to normal summon. So yeah, that just underlines how important summoning from the graveyard is to this deck. They all have different effects. When there's a special summon from the grave, when Call of the Haunted is on the field, they can shoot cards, they can extend, they can search. The archetype doesn't really have any negates. It has a lot of disruptions, shooting, sucking up monsters, bouncing cards, but no real negates. I think that fits the zombie style, you know, like not casting any magic to like negate your effect magically, but just run over you like we know it of all those zombie monsters. They just come in hordes, 3 monsters on 1 card by the way, and just run over you. Also, this archetype locks you into zombies pretty early, but this obviously also means you can easily combine it with basically any other zombie archetype or engine you want. You can also play Pumpking as a small own engine. We don't have that many cards, so a small Pumpking engine can easily be added to any zombie deck basically. So, in conclusion, the playstyle obviously fits the lore. It's a zombie deck, so of course it revolves around rising from the grave, aka special summoning from the grave. It is very fun to play, and yeah, pretty decent playstyle, fun thing, and yeah, we didn't have something like that in a while. Next up, let's talk about the power level. As much as I praised this deck by now, I have to say it's a rogue deck, and a bad rogue deck. I just have to say it, I'm sorry. Well, we have to point out some positive parts of this deck. Obviously, it doesn't need your normal summon. That's a great thing. All the monsters are level 6 or higher. You have to special summon them, so you don't need your normal summon. That's a great thing, and it has a lot of combo starters as well. It can, as I already mentioned, be combined with other small zombie engines perfectly, but the big problem is it is stopped so easily. If you shoot Call of the Haunted, you have a big problem. If it's negated, same thing. Ghost Bell is a huge counter. Everything that locks your graveyard, so Shifter, Dark Lord, doesn't really matter. When you're out of your graveyard, you can basically call it quits. On your regular end board, so your basic combo, ends on a pop, a suck, and 1 on-field negate, and the monster can be used as material for extra deck summoning. Problem is, the suck, as well as the monster negate, only works on attack position monsters, which might sound trivial, but it actually came up in testing that I wasn't able to use it because he summoned in defense. So this is another downer, and the general problem is it's just too slow. It's really, really too slow. It's not enough. No negates in your end combo in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just a huge problem. Obviously, some of those effects have to have Call of the Haunted being activated first. Which means, with your monster negate, you can't even stop on summon effects. Because on summon, you activate Call of the Haunted, chain resolves, on summon effect goes through, then you have your monster, which is the monster negate, and you're too late. That's actually a really big problem of this deck. Well, since it is graveyard based, its grind game is definitely not the worst, but actually, to be honest, also not overwhelming. Other decks can do better in grind game even, so in total, I just have to say the power level of this deck is rather mid. It's a bad rogue deck, I'd call it that. If you're having fun dueling with your friends, it's amazing. It's fun, it brings back the old days, but if you're looking for a powerful deck to take to tournaments, you better look the other way. And finally, we talk about the last category, which is price. Well, you know how this goes. I only include the deck core, no non-engine, and if you want to buy this deck core, you have to spend $90 to $100. The most expensive cards are actually 2 cards you need to run 3 copies of because those are all starters. First of all, it's Pumpking, King of the Grave Ghosts for about $12 a piece, and Ectoplasmic Fortification for around $9 a piece. I just have to say, for a mid deck like this is just too expensive. It's really too expensive. I talked about other decks, Goblin Bikers for example, which you can get really cheap, and I mean I haven't dueled against it, or those two haven't come together now, but I'd say Goblin Bikers is probably on the same level, if not better, and like is the half of this price, even less than half. I mean, the rest of the deck is rather cheap. If you play Varudra, so the Eldritch package, this one is about $2 to $3. Stare of the Snakehair is about $4. You'll also need 3 of this, so this also pushes the price. And I have to say, I didn't even include things like IP and SP. So you don't really need them in your basic combo, so I didn't throw them in. And yeah, it is kind of expensive. So, in conclusion, as you can see, if you're looking for a cheap and powerful deck and price and power level should like be on a scale, don't do it. It's a lover's deck. It's definitely a lover's deck. If you're from the OG days like I am, and that's basically the reason I bought this deck, is just because I love the artworks, I love the OG anime, and yeah, I was willing to pay those prices, but yeah, it is an expensive deck, you just have to say it. Alright guys, that's it for the categories, and I'd say it's about time we dive into the deck profile. Alright guys, as always we start things off with the monsters, and the first one we talk about is Pumpking, King of Grave Ghosts. Look at this design, amazing card, key card right here, because this one has the effect that you can reveal this card in your hand to set a Call of the Haunted from your deck or graveyard, and if you do, discard 1 card. That set card can be activated this turn, and if this card is special summoned, you can special summon a level 6 zombie monster from your deck, except one with 1950 attack, and you can special summon from the hand or graveyard for the rest of this turn, except zombie monsters. Now, this one is one of your key cards. It starts your combo, you use this one to bring out a Call of the Haunted, discard it, special summon it with the set Call of the Haunted, and you're in your combo. Amazing card. Obviously, we also have other ways to special summon this, but it's a combo starter and a definite 3-off right here. Next up, we run 3 copies of Stare of the Snakehair. I actually just realized while researching for this video that this artwork is straight out of the anime. Amazing one right here. And this one has the effect that you can discard this card as cost and add a Call of the Haunted or spell or trap that mentions it from your deck to your hand. And if this card is special summoned, you can target an attack position monster your opponent controls, and that face-up monster cannot attack, its effects are negated, and it can't be used as material for fusion, synchro, xyz, or link summon. Now obviously it is a searcher, so it can search you your fortification, which can search you your pumpkin, so it is a combo starter. That's the reason we need 3. And special summon from the grave with the Call of the Haunted, it's even a monster negate, and of course also prevents this monster from being used as a material for an extra deck monster, so an amazing card right here. Important part of your basic combo, you can never have enough of this, so definitely a 3-off. Next up, we run 1 copy of Great Mammoth of the Netherworld. Also artwork straight out of the Battle City anime, and this one has the effect that if it is special summoned and you control Call of the Haunted or zombie monster except itself, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. You can only use this once per turn, and a zombie xyz monster that has this card as material gains this effect. It gains 1000 attack. So with your Pumpkin during your opponent's turn, you bring out Pumpkin from your grave, you extend with Pumpkin for your Mammoth, and Mammoth shoots a card. So it's a great disruption right here. And of course, the boost for your xyz monsters should not be underestimated. You can finish off with this quite well. But obviously, since you want to special summon it from your deck, 1 is the perfect ratio right here. And the final Call of the Haunted archetype card we run is 1 copy of Army of the Haunted. I just love this artwork so much. Now this one has the effect that if you control Call of the Haunted and this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon it. And if it is sent to the graveyard, you can target a Call of the Haunted in your graveyard and set it. Now I have to be honest, it is a decent card. It's a free extender, it brings back Call of the Haunted, it's all nice, but you don't necessarily need this one. So if you're looking for cards to cut for more non-engine or other stuff, this would be one you could potentially cut. I just love it so much. It is searchable in this deck, so that's why I keep on holding on to one copy. In the grind game, it is actually pretty amazing, but yeah, it's not your most important card. That's why we only run one. Next up, we talk about some general zombie stuff, and the first card we talk about is Changshi the Spiriado. Also just an amazing card right here. This one has the effect that during your main phase you can send a zombie monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Also, if this card is banished, you can banish one zombie monster from your graveyard to special summon this card, but place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. This one is actually going first, your go-to card you bring out with your Pumpking. It is a level 6 monster, so it's free for all of your Xyz plays, and it can just foolish one zombie monster. That's the important part right here. Amazing card, but one is enough. The next one is 3 copies of Uni Zombie. Actually one of the most broken cards for zombies out there, because this one has the effect that you can target a face-up monster on the field, discard a card, and if you do, increase that target's level by 1. You can also target a face-up monster on the field, and monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of this turn except zombie monsters. Also, send a zombie monster from your deck to your graveyard, and if you do, increase that target's level by 1. This is just insane. You can have a discard of a zombie monster, which can be very useful. We have some monsters we don't want to see in our hand, but we want in our grave. And of course, just another foolish. This card is amazing. It can also work as a combo starter with one of the cards I'm about to show you. So yeah, just an amazing card. Now, actually, you can play 3 of this. You can also replace one copy with something like Gozuki. This also works pretty well, but yeah, it's not that important. The important part is you have to keep track of your normal summons you have in this deck, because for your Eldritch line, the normal summons are actually pretty important, and Uni Zombie definitely one of the best cards. At least run 2, if not 3 of this one. Next up is 1 copy of Mezuki. Now this one is pretty simple. You can straight up banish it from your graveyard to target a zombie monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. Now, we have a lot of ways to foolish zombie monsters. And if we don't draw into any of our Pumpkin or Call of the Haunted starters, Mezuki can be one of the pieces that allows you to go into your combo still. Let's say you foolish Pumpkin with Foolish Burial, then you have another way to foolish Mezuki. We have field spells that can let us do this, for example. You can banish Mezuki, special summon Pumpkin, and there you go into your Call of the Haunted combo. But yeah, again, 1 is definitely enough for this. If you want to cut out for non-engine, this would be another one you could potentially cut, I guess. A card you should definitely not cut is the next one, and a staple for all zombie decks. It's of course Glow Up Bloom. Amazing card right here, with the effect that if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish it from your graveyard to add a level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your hand, or if Zombie World is in a field zone, you can special summon it from your deck instead. Also, in either case, you can special summon for the rest of this turn except zombie monsters. Now, this one is really amazing. It's great to foolish this, to have access to your Pumpkin and then start your combo. So yeah, that's the one you want to send with Zombie. If you don't have Pumpkin, send it, add Pumpkin. It's just a very important card to get to your combo pieces. So in a way, it is another combo starter, because actually you can also normal summon it, link it away, and then have the search. So yeah, amazing card, but 1 is definitely enough. You want to foolish it from your deck most of the time. Same goes for the next one, which is Necro World Banshee. Amazing card right here, with the effect that Zombie World in the field zone cannot be destroyed by card effects, and neither player can target it with card effects. Also, quick effect, you can banish this card from a field or graveyard to activate a Zombie World from your hand or deck. Now the second effect is the important one. Zombie World should not be underestimated. We have so many decks that rely on the type of their own monsters, and Zombie World makes them all zombies, which is very important. So yeah, amazing card right here, straight up searches or activates your Zombie World from the deck. Amazing card, but again, it's a foolish target, so 1 is enough. And you know, if we play Zombie World, we also play Doom King Balladrock. Amazing card right here. This is actually the one you want to foolish with your Spiriado. It has the effect that during the standby phase, if a face-up card is in the field zone and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon it in defense position. And that's the important part. It has to be any card in a field zone. It can be your opponent's field zone, can be your own, and we in total run 3 different field spells, so no problem bringing this one out. But of course it's most powerful with Zombie World, because once per chain, when a zombie monster except itself activates its effect, quick effect, you can apply one of these effects, but you cannot apply that same effect of Doom King Balladrock again this turn. You either negate that effect or you banish a monster from the field or graveyard. This one is just amazing. Now, even if you don't have Zombie World, when you activate a zombie monster's effect, you have a free banish on the field or in the graveyard, and if you have Zombie World, you can even negate a zombie effect of your opponent, so a monster effect of your opponent basically. Amazing card. It is part of your basic combo. Yeah, definitely run this one, but 1 is obviously enough. And I teased it on long enough, we obviously also run 1, Eldritch the Golden Lord. By the way, I have to show this. It's the lost art. Can you see the dead one under his ass? Amazing. Now, this one has the effect that you can send this card and a spell or trap from your hand to the graveyard to target a card on the field and send it to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send a spell trap you control to the graveyard and add this card to your hand, and then you can special summon a zombie monster from your hand, and if you do until the end of your opponent's turn, it gains 1000 attack and defense, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. Amazing card. I guess some of you already know Eldritch. If you don't, now you know what it does. It's going second, a great removal, and of course easy special summonable right here, or add back from the grave. Amazing card, but again, 1 is enough. That's all we need. For our basic Eldritch line, we want to foolish it from the deck, so yeah, that's all we need. Guys, I'm gonna finish monsters right here because I've decided we do an extra section for non-engine in these videos going forward. I think that's more useful for you guys. So that's it for the engine monsters. Let's move on to the spells. For the spells, we start things off with 3 copies of Ectoplasmic Fortification. I just love this artwork. The yellow outlines, it's so nostalgic. I don't know what it is. It's just amazing. This one is one of your starters because it has the effect that you can activate one of these effects. If you control no monsters, add a level 6 zombie monster or 1 Call of the Forgotten from your deck to your hand. And also, if you control monsters basically, zombie monsters you control gain 400 attack, and then you can draw cards equal to the number of Call of the Haunted you control. Obviously, it's a starter, it can search Pumpking, that's all we need to know. And if you draw into it while you're already in your combo, it can boost up your zombie monsters, which is not too bad, and give you some draws. Well, actually, the second effect is not that important, it rarely comes up, but it's a combo starter, you have to run 3 of this. Next up, we also run 1 copy of Call of the Forgotten. Amazing artwork once again. This field spell has the effect that when it is activated, you can set up to 3 Call of the Haunted from your deck and or graveyard, and if you do until the end of your opponent's turn, you can special summon except zombie monsters or monsters from the graveyard. So another lock into zombies we have right here, and once per turn, if you activate Call of the Haunted, you can target a monster your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. Now this is also just a great combo piece to bring out all of your Call of the Haunted straight from your deck. Also, of course, the second effect is neat. It actually doesn't come up that often. If you pull off your combo right, you won't even have it in your field zone anymore, because yeah, it makes space for Zombie World, which is obviously the better choice. Great card, but 1 is enough, we can easily search it out. Same goes for the next one, which is the quick play spell, Vortex of Time. I love how on first glance this card doesn't make any sense why it is in this archetype. You have to know the anime to know why this artwork fits this archetype. This one has the effect that when your opponent activates a normal or quick play spell card or effect or monster effect, while you control a zombie monster and Call of the Haunted, your opponent tosses a coin and the activated effects becomes the following effect. If it's heads, your opponent, so you, must banish a monster you control, or tails, you must banish all monsters you control. Now, the head or tails thing is nice, reference to Time Wizard, I love it, but the main thing is you can just basically negate a normal quick play or monster effect right here, which is insanely powerful. You can search this out, so 1 is enough basically, but definitely run 1 because it is one of your best negates you have in this archetype. And yeah, I mean the downside is, okay, you might get rid of one of your monsters. If everything goes right, your opponent gets rid of all of his monsters, so yeah, amazing card right here. Next up, we run 2 copies of another field spell called Delta of Invitation. Also an amazing card with the effect that when this card is activated, you can send a level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. Also, once per turn, if a zombie monster is on the field, you can special summon a Delta token, and if a monster is added from your graveyard to the hand while this card is in your graveyard, you can add it back to your hand. Now, it's on summon just another Foolish. It's very good in your Eldritch line because activate this, Foolish Eldritch, use Eldritch, get this one to the graveyard to add back Eldritch and then summon it. And Delta even adds itself back because when, of course, you activate Eldritch, a zombie monster is added from the graveyard to the hand, so you can also add back Delta. It's a great card. The reason we run 2 is because if you have Delta and a normal summon in your hand, any normal summon, you end on an Omni. And that's the reason I decided to run 2. Not 3, because if you draw into it later on, it won't be that useful. You go through your level 5 or higher zombies that you want in the grave pretty quick, so it can be a brick when you draw into it in turn 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. So that's why I went with 2 and have great experience with this ratio so far. Next up is the already mentioned Zombie World, our third field spell, amazing card. I just love how many monsters are hidden in this artwork, just amazing. If you know one of those, definitely let me know in the comments. And yeah, this one has the simple effect that all monsters on the field and in the graveyards become zombie monsters, and neither player can tribute summon monsters except zombie monsters. You won't believe how powerful this is. You basically mess up Fiendsmith, because it needs a light fiend monster, right? So many decks that you can easily just mess up with this simple card. Amazing one, but we can set it straight from a deck. So 1 is all we need, but it's one of the most powerful cards we have. An amazing luck, you definitely have to run this. And because we have so many field spells, we of course run 1 copy of Terraforming right here, so we can choose whichever field spell is the best for us right now. And because we Foolish so good and we have so many great Foolish effects, we also run 1 Foolish Burial. Alright guys, that's it for the spells, and we can go over the traps real quick because we only, the Archetype engine traps, we only run 2 copies of Call of the Haunted. Well, we only need 2. I ran 3 at the start, but your third copy is really basically useless. You only have 2 good cards in your graveyard that you can bring back during your opponent's turn and interrupt this way. 1 is Pumpking, that extends for Mammoth and is a shoot, and 1 is your Snakehair, so 2 is all you really need. Trust me on this one, I tried 3, it's not worth it. 2 is the perfect ratio. And yeah, guys, that's it for the engine. Let's talk about non-engine next. So, as non-engine, we start things off with 3 Mulchami Fuvalos right here. Don't have to explain it, best hand trap currently out there. Closely followed by the next one, which is 3 copies of Ash Blossom. A zombie monster, by the way, which can actually be handy. I actually normal summoned it for Link Summon in some duels, so yeah, that comes up. Then I personally run 2 Droll and Lock Bird. I know it's now on 2. I know some of you might say, oh, this card is not worth it. I think there are still a lot of decks that lose to Droll. I love it and I will keep playing it. And we round up with 3 Infinite Impermanence, one of the best hand traps we have. That's it for the non-engine. So you can see we have 11 non-engine right now. I pointed out some cards you could cut for more non-engine, but actually you don't really have too much space left. I can see you run 12 non-engine, maybe 13, but not really more. If you cut out more, your deck will lose immense power. So yeah, that's all we need. And of course, as always, guys, you can change this up with any non-engine you like. Those are just my personal preferences. What would you choose? Let me know in the comments and we'll move on to the extra deck. For the extra deck, we'll start things off with the cards you need for your Eldritch line, and the first one is Fallen Angel of the Golden Land. Amazing artwork right here. This one has the effect that you can also special summon it by tributing a light zombie monster while you have Eldritch the Golden Lord in your field or graveyard. Basically, you will tribute Eldritch to get this one out. You won't get it out in any other way. And it also has the effect that if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon an Eldritch monster from your deck, extra deck, or graveyard. So it's just an extender. You switch it out for your Eldritch basically, then you link it away or something like that to go into Eldritch, the Mad Golden Lord. Also amazing looking card right here. This one has the effect that this card's name becomes Eldritch the Golden Lord while on the field. It can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and you can tribute a zombie monster and then target a face-up monster your opponent controls and take control of it, but it can't attack or activate its effects this turn. With 3,800 points of attack, this is just a huge powerhouse. It can also help you finish off duels, but most of the time in your Eldritch line, you want to use it because it's a level 10 monster. That's the whole point right here. And what do you want to use it for? Well, before you can use it, you need another card, which is Flying Mary the Wandering Ghost Ship. Also an amazing card with the effect that it needs 2 zombie monsters, and you can target one of your level 5 or higher zombie monsters that is banished on your graveyard, place this card in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous spell, and if you do, special summon that monster. Also, while this card is a continuous spell, you can target a level 5 or higher zombie monster you control and destroy a monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to that monster. Now the great thing is, this brings back Eldritch, you have 2 level 10s and you can do your shenanigans. The great thing about this one though is that if the monster you special summon leaves the field, Mary stays. So you can use all of your level 5 or higher zombie monsters to just pop one monster of your opponent per turn. So pretty amazing card, not only for the Eldritch line, but in general, but especially for this line, it's amazing. So what do you want to use your 2 level 10 monsters for? Obviously, Varudras, the final bringer of the end times. Amazing card right here. Obviously needs 2 or more level 10 monsters and has the effect that when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card, negate the activation, and then you can detach a material from this card to then destroy a card on the field. Also at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks while it has material, you can destroy a card on the field. And if this Xyz Summon card is destroyed, you can destroy a card on the field. So we have an Omni, we have a Destroy, we have a Destroy on the attack, we have a Destroy when it is destroyed, so it is really the Destroyer right here. Problem is, it's a worm monster, not a zombie. So you have to be cautious. If you want to play that line, you're not allowed to lock yourself into zombies, which means no Glow Up Bloom, no Pumpking Call of the Haunted line. It is a bit tricky. If you want to know how this works, check out the basic combo video. I'll tell you more about that there. Next up, let's talk about the Call of the Haunted extra deck monsters. And the first one we talk about is 2 copies of Pumpking the Great Ghost King. Such a great mustache this guy has. Now this one needs 2 level 6 zombie monsters, and while you control Call of the Haunted, your opponent cannot target zombie monsters you control with monster effects. Also, if this card is special summoned, you can add a Call of the Haunted or a card that mentions it from a deck to your hand, and also you can detach a material from this card and target up to 2 cards on the field and bounce them back to the hand. Now it is a Searcher on summon, which is amazing. The protection effect is neat, but it doesn't come up that often. The important part is the bouncing actually. Not only going second, but also bouncing your own Call of the Haunted can be very important, and this is what you do during your basic combo. Again, if you want to know how that works, check out the combo video. Next up, we also run 1 copy of the Undying Legion. Just love this card so much. Now this one has the effect that it needs 2 level 7 monsters, or you can also Xyz summon it by using a rank 6 zombie Xyz monster you control. And during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card, or just 1 if all this card's materials are Xyz monsters, to target an attack position monster your opponent controls, or 1 monster in their graveyard, and attach it to this card. So it is Field Disruption, Grave Disruption, however you want to call it. It has more attack than Pumpking, and basically once you use Pumpking, you will always go into this one. Now I've seen profiles running this on 2. I can definitely see why. I have some Xyz monsters or some extra deck monsters you could cut out for this one. So yeah, let's move on. Next up, for other rank 6 plays, I want 1 copy of Dampier Vampire Sheridan. This one also needs 2 level 6 monsters, and if you use a monster with a level that is owned by your opponent for the Xyz summon of this card, treat it as level 6. And actually we have some cards that let us steal opponent's monsters, so it's not that unnecessary. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card to target a card your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. And once per turn, if a monster card is sent from the field to your opponent's graveyard by card effect, or a monster is destroyed by battle and sent to your opponent's graveyard, you can detach a material from this card and special summon one of those monsters to your field in defense position. Now the great thing about this one is actually going second. Zending is important, it's not destroying. Monsters that are protected from destruction can be dealt with by this card. And obviously just stealing your opponent's monster out of your graveyard is amazing. With Zombie World they're all zombies, so you can use them for link plays. It's a decent card. It doesn't come up too often. If you want to cut out this one for another Undying Legion, you can. But honestly, I never needed another Undying Legion, so I'll just stick with this one. The next one we run is one copy of Wallow, Founder of the Drudge Dragons. Also an amazing card that needs 2 level 6 monsters and has the effect that monsters you control gain 100 attack and defense for each card in your opponent's graveyard. Quick effect, you can target one card in your opponent's graveyard and attach 1 or 2 materials from this card and then activate the appropriate effect. If it was 1 material, return it to the deck, and if it was 2, if the target is a monster, special summon it in face up or face down defense position to your field. If it's not, set it to your field. This is actually great graveyard disruption. It's an attack boost and yeah, just can really mess up some of your opponent's plays. I went into this one several times. It is a great card. Definitely run this one. You don't want to cut it. It can also help you run over some big monsters. Amazing card right here. And the final Xyz monster is one copy of Pilgrim Reaper. Also needs 2 level 6 monsters and has the effect that it gains 200 attack and defense for each dark monster in the graveyards, and you can detach a material from this card and each player sends the top 5 cards from their deck to the graveyard. Now, this one is obviously graveyard setup. It can be a powerhouse, but only very late in the game. And it is a double-edged sword. You fill your own grave, which is great, but your opponent does the same thing, and you know that the graveyard is your second hand and also your opponent's second hand. So if you want to let him add 5 cards to their grave, yeah, depending on which deck you play against, it can be good, but it's not that amazing. If you want to cut it out for something else, you could cut this one actually. And because we run some tuners, for example Unizombie or also Glow Bloom, we also run one synchro monster, which is Skeletal Dragon Felgrand. Now I have to be honest, it came up once while testing and I tested a lot. So yeah, you could potentially cut this out, it doesn't come up often. But it is an amazing card actually. It needs 1 zombie tuner and 1 non-tuner monsters, and if it is special summoned, you can target a monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard and banish it. And if a monster is special summoned from either graveyard while this monster is on the field, you can target another face-up monster on the field and negate its effects until the end of this turn. So combined with all the graveyard summon we do, this is of course amazing negate, a destroy on field, a banish on summon. Amazing card actually, but yeah, sadly it rarely comes up. For the link lineup, we run one copy of Vampire Sucker. Also, pretty amazing card, needs 2 zombie monsters and has the effect that if you would tribute a monster for a tribute summon, you can tribute a zombie monster your opponent controls even though you do not control them. And also you can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to your opponent's field in defense position, but it becomes a zombie monster, and if a zombie monster is special summoned from either graveyard, you draw a card. So with all the summoning we do, it's just a free draw. Also, of course, with its own effect, you can just bring out a monster from your opponent, it becomes a zombie, and you can draw. And with all the level 6 and higher monsters, just tributing away a monster from our opponent, even if we don't use her effect with Zombie World, for example, we can just tribute any monster of our opponent, basically. This card is actually pretty good. Next up, we also run one copy of Linkuriboh. This one is actually pretty important. I mean, you can replace it with Relinquished Anima, for example, but it is a great card because this one has the effect that when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you contribute this card and change that opponent's monster's attack to 0 until the end of this turn. And if this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you contribute a level 1 monster and special summon this card. Now, the second effect won't come up, we don't have another level 1 monster, but yeah, monster 0, okay, that's nice, but it's important because we can send our Glow Up Bloom and have its effect. So with this card, Glow Up Bloom is also a 1-card starter. That's the whole reason we run it, but it is important. But as I said, you can also replace it with something like Relinquished Anima or Almiraj, for example. And we round up the extra deck pretty basic. 1 IP Masquerena, I guess you know what this one does, and 1 SP Little Knight. And guys, that's it for the extra deck. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, definitely leave a like and a subscription. This would really help us a lot. It's one small click for you, means the world to us, of course. Then obviously, don't forget to let us know what you think about this deck profile down in the comments. We always love to read and answer them. And if you want the full Call of the Haunted, Pumpking, experience. Don't forget to check out the basic combo and test hand video as well as the Nexus-Replays. And yeah guys, I'd say until next time, have a good one.